can't remember who it was. Someone came in and they were from London, and they said, "This is unbelievable." And at the time I was talking to someone else, and I said, "Sorry, what is?" He said, This black pudding. And he said, "It's much better than the one that comes from the Wester Isles."
But mark the rustic haggis fed, the trembling earth resounds his tread. And it was a golf course where you can only play with vintage clubs and you use sheep to graze it and stuff. But it's so interesting, again, during the war, the whole thing got ploughed.
And I lost my job.
Did you go to uni?
Yeah, I did. I did business, business management, and let me tell you the name of the course. It's so cringe.
No, tell me it. It's all a front. But this is the sales. We are getting the sales right now.
God, I was stuck to this.
Absolutely. Well, look, what a nice guy. What a nice guy. We've
Brainwashing.
actually seen these. I've been Cammy.
I've been Iona.
And we're all
Fed by farmers. Hello and welcome to the Fed by Farmers podcast with me, Iona Murray. I have been left solo again for this week's intro. Cammy is flat out scanning at the moment. So this week we are joined by Pete Mitchell, who is the founder of Farmer's Son, which is small batch producers of black pudding, white pudding, Lawrence sausage, I don't know why I'm listing them all now, and haggis. So he talks through that. He was born into the family farm and he went away, lived in Canada for a while and came back. And yeah, interesting story of how he set it up and used the different skills he'd learned to put it together. Also very fitting because it is Burns. What do you call it? Burns celebration? Okay, it's Robert Burns' birthday on Saturday. So in Scotland, it's traditional to go to Burns suppers for people who eat haggis and things. So very fitting. I also tasted the products that Pete brought and they were delicious. So yes, I need to do the most important part of the podcast, and that is thank our sponsors, Crystalyx and Tracesure by Animax. Thank you for your continued support and hope you enjoy the podcast.
And we've been talking already for about 20 minutes. Mr. Pete Mitchell has joined us from the Farmer's Son. Do you call yourself a food? What do you call the Farmer's Son?
A food business.
Food business.
Yeah.
I hope you know.
Or what do you?
I don't know.
Yeah, a food business.
I've never thought about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't thought of that one.
Yeah.
What is it?
The Farmer's Son. So really trying to tell a story behind who we are and the food products that we make, and I think kind of these the Farmer's Son is trying to tell our story really.
Okay, so what is your background? Were you born into a family farm?
Yeah, so
It'd be really terrible if it wasn't.
Why? On Farmer's Son?
Yeah. So like you wouldn't be a farmer's son then.
Not very authentic.
Well. So yeah, so
Rip off. He's ripping off our good name. Sorry, Pete, on you go.
No, absolutely. I'm a supermarket farm that just decided one day. So
it's one of those nice. What do you call it? Farm washing.
Yes, greenwashing. Greenwashing.
Is it greenwashing? It's called.
I think so. Yeah. Greenwashing. Yeah.
Right.
So we, the Farmer's Son, So yeah, my mum and dad run our family farm, my auntie as well, and so I grew up on the farm. We have a Clenchy farm, which is at Auchtertool, just outside West Fife. So we're kind of 11 miles from Edinburgh, 30 miles from St Andrews, nice part of the world, out over the Forth, and but it's difficult. It's a small farm by standards. We're about under 300 acres, so I think we're 260 or 70 or whatever, and it's kind of mix of, it's heavy ground, grassland. I would say most of the ground is all grassland, a lot of gorse bushes, and a bit of crops. And we've always had livestock. We've always kind of grown crops, and the family have been farming in the area for back to about 1694, I think. We've got our 1674, something like that. It's incredible, Mitchells, and we can trace it back to kind of farming Stirlingshire, Airth, but really kind of over the last 300 years, we've kind of migrated through to I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but through to where we are now, Auchtertool. So my great-grandfather, Harry, and his brother Sam came to Clenchy. It was on the Murray Estates. My grandfather, they both died really suddenly in the last year of the Second World War. and my grandfather came back.
A lot of people died very suddenly. that
Yeah,
year,
yeah.
to be
Well,
fair.
no, they were farming. They were really good farmers. They farmed.
So they went in the war.
No. So they
Of course, the farmers had
Yeah.
to stay home and.
Yeah.
So an interesting thing about those. Sorry to do a quick tangent. I know you
Yeah,
like
no,
a
definitely.
tangent. Sky News did a very good piece. They called it Farmageddon.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
No.
No, and they went right back to the statistics of food production in this country, and really interesting. And the big one was that post-war spike on food production, where basically they were like your Iona's dad mentioned in a podcast, where they were like ploughing bits of hill if they could
Yeah.
to plant. Everything was getting turned into food
Yeah.
production.
Yeah.
And there was a massive spike, and the farmers were like, right, you guys. Because you might think, no, farmers not going to war. It's a bit like, but food production,
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah,
thing
it's
falls
essential.
apart. Oh yeah, the whole thing falls apart.
So the thing, sorry, not to totally go off a tangent here, but they were really good farmers, and the government took a lot of the local farms that were on tenancy and put them in control of them. So they farmed. I think there was about 18 farms that they farmed. So it was over 2,000 acres. So huge area.
So your family were involved in the 5 clearances.
The five clearances. No. So they
Sounds like it. He's a better farmer than you, mate.
just during
Get
the
out.
war. Just during the war. And these are
okay.
guys that were they're getting the best out of the land and
It makes
livestock.
sense. It does make
It does,
sense.
yeah, and ploughing up the golf courses and everything, and they did a huge job.
Crystalyx Extra High Energy feed blocks have been providing high energy supplementation to ewes, lambs and rams in the UK since 1978. Packed full of protein, vitamins, minerals and trace elements, Crystalyx Extra High Energy has been proven to increase live lamb numbers and improve lamb daily live weight gain at a cost of only 4 to 7 pence per ewe per day. To view the full Crystalyx range and find your nearest stockist, visit crystalyx-global.com.
Another tangent.
Go on.
Did we speak about this in the podcast on Landward?
No.
Or did I speak about this on Facebook, on YouTube?
Not here.
Landward did a piece, Dougie Viewpoint. It was in his 1950s gear. And it was a golf course where you can only play with vintage clubs and
Yeah.
they use sheep to graze it and stuff. But it's so interesting. Again, during the war, the whole thing get ploughed
Yeah.
to produce food.
Really? The
And
golf courses?
and I just thought that, like,
Is that the Hickory Club up at Cooper at Hilltarvet?
it was a very posh bit, so
Yeah.
it could be. They've Hebridean sheep running on it.
I don't know.
Wherever
I'm
I
not
can't
got
remember
no
what it was
time
now,
for
but,
that. No time for golf.
Dougie just looked class in his old vintage gear. He looks class and everything, to be fair. That's why he's the front man. But the really interesting thing with that was that they ploughed it during the war to produce food. I just
Yeah.
think, how far have we came from ploughing golf courses to produce food
Yeah.
to planting dairy farms and trees?
Yes.
So
Well,
true.
just
So
to
true.
to totally go off. I'll hold that thought for
I
a
love
second.
tangents. Keep them coming, man. This is amazing.
Mr.
we're in now.
ADHD over here.
Yeah, keep it coming.
So no, honestly, it's good. It's good. But so like we've been farming the whole time, and I grew up on the farm. You always think from a young age that you're going to be a farmer.
Did
and
you?
Yeah, and it's kind of I guess like it's like brainwashed into you, and you love it. And I always loved tractors. Always loved kit, machinery. Cows, sheep. I used to have lambs or try and raise lambs to stop dying, and pet lambs and stuff. And then you sell them to the butchers, and you're like, oh, money, and then you realise that it's haven't even covered the cost of the lamb milk. And so the whole time I was really into that. My mum and dad in the 90s, we had a lot of pigs on the farm. We lost a lot of money, and they were working so hard. And Dad knew that we had a really good product on the farm, but we were sending it off to the supermarkets. It was coming back, rubbish pork, sausages, all that kind of stuff. So we knew that what the products we were producing on the farm were great, and they're not of the same standard, the world over. And I think that was the thing was, Dad said to me, look, you should go off and try and plough your own furrow and go and get experience abroad and stuff. And I went off, kind of just got through school, the options were kind of college or university, and it was kind of like that was the thing to do, was to go to university. But Mum was like, no, you should just become a plumber. And
That was a very Labour thing. We've spoke about that in the podcast. That was the new Labour.
Yeah,
Higher
everyone-
education.
yeah.
Everybody go to uni.
yeah, and
Now we've not got any plumbers.
well, that's it. Yeah. However, with the economy in 2008 would have been a disaster if I had just graduated. And I knew a lot of people who had become tradespeople, and they all lost their jobs.
When the property stuff
Yeah.
all crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, these things, it is just sometimes it's that kind of luck and stuff. But it went off, and I had gone abroad, worked abroad in Australia and done farming and backpacking and all kinds of stuff. Again, you see different food and farms and stuff over there. And the way that people produce stuff, massive numbers of sheep and stuff, and it's a case of what can you get back rather than you're like kind of looking at, it's just what can you get back at the end of the year. And I think when going abroad, working overseas as well after university and coming back and then seeing, well, we've got this really unique story. The whole time I was working, I worked in finance and I lost my job.
Did you go to uni?
Yeah, I did. I did business, did like business management, and I don't need to tell you the name of the course. It's so cringe.
No, tell me.
Masters in entrepreneurship, and I just remember thinking
But you're one of the few that have done that and actually brought it to fruition.
Yeah.
well, there you go.
So the system works.
Yeah, I know. But I did actually go into agriculture, and I think the thing is that there's when you go to young farmers and the community, and you got cousins that are maybe in farming, or your uncles or whatever it is, and in the farming community, everyone's related to each other, and there's this great movement, and you're like, oh, I want to be part of that kind of belonging. And I think you to go to uni and do agriculture, but then actually it was probably the best thing ever changing out that course and going to do business, because trying to make a go of a small family farm would have been almost impossible, when you've already got 3 family members, or if not more, trying to make a living from our small farm. So I'd had the opportunity to go overseas after finishing at uni, and I think the reality of trying to get a job with like a really average degree in business in 2010, again, there wasn't a huge job market, and I just thought, why would anyone give me a graduate job when you've got tens of thousands of people who are much better qualified than I am? So I went over to Canada, where nobody knew me at all. I could start my own brand, I've got a degree in business, and they're like, oh, that's amazing. And you can achieve anything you want if you put your mind to it. And that was the whole thing, it wasn't a case of what uni did you go to, what degree did you get, who do you know, what grades did you get at high school kind of 100 years ago. And it's like, why is that relevant to where you are in your mid-20s? And I managed to someone gave me a kind of a go of essentially doing like telesales in banking, and like kind of working with in a stockbroker. And they said, look, we throw a lot of spaghetti about, not a lot of it sticks, but we'll give you a shot for a month. If you work, you can keep the job. And so I did that, got 3 months, got 6 months, got a year, and then ended up being there for 3 to 4 years. So that was amazing, a really good opportunity. Sales, about the story of like kind of branding, telling a story, speaking to people, being able to, speak to people on the phone and tell them what you've got, rather than like having to go and see someone face to face.
I mean, one thing I would say, I'm surprised at that, because you seem too nice to rip people off.
Well, you say that.
Time?
You say that, but no, I'm joking. So
it's all a front. But this is a front. We are getting the sales right now.
God, I was stuck to this.
Absolutely. Well, what a nice guy. What a nice guy.
It was amazing. These guys, and they were. A lot of them are first-generation Canadians, and they're all working for the bank. The idea with the banks is that you can only invest, or you can only lend what you have on your balance sheet. So we were working with people who maybe were self-made business people, or senior executives, etc. And we're phoning them up and saying, look, you're in this remote part of Canada, or in Toronto, outside of Toronto, in the kind of suburbs. You've not got great access to information, and data, and you're working really hard, making all this money, and then you're literally, you're not maximizing what you're doing. And I didn't know anything at all about finance, but I could speak to people, and obviously having grown up on the farm and people phoning up, the farm to buy meat, and I'd be answering the phone, and people, aged kind of 10 on the squeaky voice, people saying, "Hi, darling," and you're like. So you're trying to like
manly.
Yeah, you're like and
all right, mate.
Telling them, all right, mate, you want an order?
Give your money.
Yeah. So and you learn going to farmers markets and stuff. So you can talk to people and sell, and so it was like a really good opportunity. And I remember about 9 months in, I thought, Dad, this isn't for me. And I phoned up and I said, I'm going to go and drive a combine out in the prairies. And Dad said, Pete, you could go and do that anytime, but this is a really good opportunity. You might never get the same opportunity to be on the 55th floor in a in a skyscraper downtown Toronto with just go as far as you can. And earn as much as you can. And so anyway, I got a great opportunity, did loads of qualifications, and the guys there were really, I quit my job about 50 times, and the guys, each time I asked for it back, and they were like, I totally understand. We were but it was amazing. And that kind of kindness, but also the support of that you're struggling, and they're saying, look, as long as you keep working hard, and all the things you learn in farming about grafting, work hard, determination, resilience, you get the phone slammed down on you, people saying, you know, I'm not interested or whatever, and you just keep going. And it's all these things are life skills, and you can apply them to everything. So when I came back from Canada, my visa had finished, and you know, you're really pumped up and all the rest of it. And then people are asking you what grades you got 10 years ago at school and what school you went to, and you're thinking, Christ, and that's the thing that's wrong almost with Britain, is that people are too hung up. They've got a chip on their shoulder about, you know, what you got at university. This idea that if you go to university, that you're going to suddenly become overnight success. But you know, it gives you a basic understanding of learning and all this stuff like this, but actually it's the going out and trying to achieve value.
Oh, absolutely. It's some of that just like big firms, and it's just an easy sifting process of, you know, it's a black and white factual thing, you know,
100%.
like take the grades and then deal with what's left.
Yeah.
You know, there's probably a lot of that. And you're not actually always getting the best person. Of course
Definitely
you're not.
not.
I mean, I'm fortunate, like, although the police ask what grade you got, is pretty standard. That, like, it's no part of the police process. So, like, I've never really used my grades.
Yeah.
And I say that every year when the exams thing come out. Like, it would seem you get to like 30, like nobody really cares.
Younger
Like, even when you're applying, but surely like when you're like our age now and you're applying for jobs, they don't ask about. Would they still ask about your? I suppose university degree is important if it's a skilled job. You can't just go and be a doctor. I can't just go and be a doctor.
Accountant person, they're like,
character references.
Make the numbers up. I can make the numbers up.
Ask my character references. I'm class, man. Honestly, I'm great. Great at operation. I've played that a million times.
But sometimes, I think this is the thing as well, is that sometimes actually not having some of the skills means that you need to bring people in who can do that better than you. And I think that's part of the business thing. But the real thing for me was going away from home and the farm and from Scotland, Fife in the UK, was that you're essentially, you've got a flat canvas and you can create whatever you want in terms of, do you want to be a farmer, do you want to be, you know, someone in marketing, do you want to be someone in business, whatever it was, and you get those experience, and you can, depending on how hard you work and what risks you can take and what you're going to throw into it, and that commitment, you know, the amount of nights that everyone went to the pub and whatever, and I was like staying in to study for finance exams, or, you know, mortgage, you know, I did insurance and mortgage broker and like loads of stuff, stockbroking, all the licenses. But it gave you that kind of confidence that you know, I wasn't just Pete from Octortool, that such and such a son or such and such his cousin, or you know, whatever.
Yeah, your own man.
Yeah, and you know, and it was really cool. But people love the whole, are you from Scotland?
Yeah, it's a good in. Yeah.
Huge. On the phone, you know, and that's the thing. And so, are you from Scotland? And people would they wouldn't be interested in what you're saying. They just wanted to talk to you. And they say, oh, my uncle's from Scotland. He was from Skye. His last name's McDonald. And all that stuff. And it made you really proud, but it also made you homesick. And you know that
you start thinking when you're telling stories, you start thinking about it. Yeah,
and you're just like watching, I think, you know, watching Grassmen or whatever on YouTube, and all this stuff, and
Farms,
thinking,
you know.
yeah, and you're like missing out on your friends who get married and stuff, and you're thinking, you know, do I want to be here forever? And I think ultimately I'd come back to the UK. I was working in London and then was made redundant, which was just a massive blow.
What
Is
year
this
was
like 2012? Is this like crash time?
2015.
Oh, right, okay. It's after all that.
And it is
after the big shot.
Yeah. Well, I was away all that time, so
Are you in Canada during that?
Yeah. So I missed that. But it's. I don't know if you've ever been made redundant. Not yet. No, there's no news. He's not told you.
Pete's feeling the vibe. It's good, man. He's perceptive.
Sorry,
he's perceptive.
Sorry,
he's feeling the vibe.
Yeah, it's got people
Sorry to get in, Cammy.
Peter can't enter Christmas orders that are going out.
Not yet. So wait for January. So
no, what happens when you're made redundant? Just like,
it's like,
don't need you. Sit you down.
Just,
a lot of people listening will have been in that boat.
Yeah,
and it'll be life. It'll be gutting. I can only imagine.
Yeah. So I'll talk you through it, guys.
Yeah.
So this is what's gonna happen. So we had. I was out on my lunch break. That's maybe what caused it. Taking a lunch break. Never take a lunch break.
I don't.
It was 10 o'clock. It was 10 o'clock. And we're speaking a lunch break.
The work never starts, as this sort of the expression is. So so I'd been there, and it was a mega job, and the whole
What's
time.
What's a mega job? Tell us the salary.
It was a lot for 26
Come on, man,
or something.
it's in the past. Tell us. You're wearing a shuffle. Everybody knows it was big. Come on. Tell us, how much was it?
I had to work hard for this, Cammy.
No, it's
so-
hard work.
Okay,
It's hard work.
the
Oh,
redundancy package, I get it.
Redundancy was like 6 months or something. I
6
think it was
months pay?
tax free. I'm pretty sure.
Is it 6 months pay tax free?
Oh,
And you were on 100. And you were on 100 grand a year.
It was not meant to be
Would
tax
it,
free.
would it be six figures?
London,
London finance always
not
thinks
quite.
six
It was
figures.
like a starting job in London, but I was on the global. It was a global bank, so it was like New York and Hong Kong.
So it's
and
HSBC
Switzerland
in
no,
London.
No, American bank.
Oh, right,
it was
okay.
it was
The big one in Glasgow. What's the
No.
big one in Glasgow?
JP Morgan.
JP Morgan.
Yeah,
Wasn't them, was
yeah.
it? Are they Canadian or are they American?
American. So and it was an incredible company, and the opportunities and the people you're working with. You realise, like the people at school that are in like set one for everything, and like the jocks that are kind of amazing at sport, and you put all of them in a room and times it by 100. Like that's what the
American people are like.
No, that's the people that I was working with, and they were absolutely insane.
Oh,
And
so
you
it's
felt
just
so.
so it's basically like Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, no,
That's all like
opposite,
jocks.
like nerds, but like really
I think
nice.
they were like jocks.
Yeah, but mix of that. So you've got people, they were like
Oh, jocks
geniuses.
to-
guys
jocks
that
to
work
the
at
nerds.
NASA. You're like, where did you work before here? They're like, oh, I was at NASA. And you're like, this is insane. It was amazing. But the point was, the whole time I was like, I'm just from Auchtertool. I'm a farmer's son. My dad's a farmer. Like,
Yeah, I like it.
and-
The farmer's son.
And then the thing is that you're sitting there and you're looking through. So my job, we looked at mortgages and lending, and credit. So your people are wanting to borrow money and they're remortgaging their houses that are just insane, and we had to look at affordability, etc. And the whole time you're realizing these people who are really successful, they're all self-made. They're not working for someone, and the whole time, I was kind of dipping between the Scottish Farmer website, BBC News, Financial Times website, and whatever the livestock auction pages and stuff that was going on. And you're looking at this, and then you're jumping back onto work. After lunch, you're looking back at stuff, and you're thinking, I just want to farm. I just want to have my own farm. And then, so this is the thing, was that when the redundancy came up, I kind of thought, well, I want to start my own business, but I wasn't quite sure what I was wanting to do. And obviously, my family were farming. We were in food already. My grandfather started a pre-packed potato company, which went bust, but it was still, at the time, you could buy a 20-kilo bag of tatties, and he came up with the idea that you could buy 5-kilo bags at a time. And we said, why are you wanting to buy a 5-kilo bag of tatties? You can buy a 20-kilo bag.
Yeah.
And you say, no, but it's, anyway.
See, you saying that, all grown up, I'm not all grown up, I'm guessing until I was about a teen, always a big sack of tatties in the cupboard, just in the porch cupboard.
Yeah.
You keep them in a dark place where it's cold.
Yeah.
And now you say that, do you think of that now, who's mental?
Yeah. But everyone was like, you're mental. And anyway, so it folded.
That's my eye.
But he did turf. And this is what I'm saying. It's like, I haven't just decided that I'm a farmer and that whatever. Like the farmer's son is. It tells the story of that I'm not the actual farmer, but I am the farmer's son of trying to kind of telling that story, and we're like the conduit between the person buying our products and the farmer. And
it's clever.
initially it started that we were trying to. So initially we were going to do. Again, like looking at some of the Canadian businesses that are really successful. Shouldn't be telling you all my secrets of what my next business is.
That's what this podcast's all about, mate.
But we wanted to start a beer. So we were going to grow like barley and create a Pilsner beer, and it was all going to be like from farm to bottle and stuff. And then
Crawford never beat you.
Well, although I don't know. I think he does a fantastic job, and the guy's doing incredibly well. And rightly so. Like, they work so hard and they've got great product. He does a really good job, and he seems, I don't know him, but
don't talk him up too much. That's a bit much now. Come on.
But
waiting for the button.
He's got a really good coffee shop.
My wife said that he's living your dream, and I was like, oh. She's like, you just want to be, and I was like, Christ. So
Drive about in big tractors and sell beer.
Yeah, so I went and we spoke to Brewdog, and they were going to make it for us. I made the recipe. I did a brewing course. I went to speak to Herrick Watt, and we got the recipe done, and they've got an amazing brewing department. And then looked at the numbers, and I was like, this is just mental. Like, there's no way I could make this work. And the problem is, I didn't have any money. My girlfriend at the time was like, you're not going to spend your redundancy on. I went and bought some farm machinery stuff to make a bit of money and sell it. And she's like, you can do that, but we're going to buy a house or a flat with the money. You're not spending it on
a dream.
on you know on like on whatever it was. So I did a retake, and I was actually at their farm doing a sampling session with their products.
Who, the Brewdog or
No,
Crawford?
Crawford's, yeah.
Yeah.
Niven's at Globeburn
Of the
Farm
bandit
Shop.
beer, that they have.
Yeah, but obviously this was like 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay,
so way ahead of time. And we were cooking up our products that we make that came from the farm, and with black pudding, with haggis, and I can't remember who it was. Someone came in and they were from London, and they said, "This is unbelievable." And at the time, I was talking to someone else, and I said, "Sorry, what is?" He said, "This black pudding," and he said, "It's much better than the one that comes from the Wester Isles."
Cut that.
And
Pete, it's
and
been
they
so
tr-
nice getting to know you. Thank you for coming
Fantastic.
down.
We'll do the quiz.
Yeah, we'll do the quiz.
We have a lot of Stornoway fans.
So
And what I will say, I'm sure this is fantastic, but one thing I would never do is take a Londoner's take on the best black pudding. That's all I'm saying.
well, if
that
you
not a
look
fair
at the
comment?
population of London,
Is that not a fair
Greater London,
comment?
12 million people. You look at the population of Scotland, and
But who knows
immediately
black pudding better?
and
Scottish people know black pudding better
well,
than Londoners. Come
it's-
on.
but this is the thing as well, Cam. It's all regional. So you start looking at the recipe of some of the different products, and there's ones that are down in Manchester, like Bury, and there's ones that are from Ireland, and you start looking at all the different products, and then they were talking about haggis and stuff, and I said to Dad, I really want to come back and get involved in the family farm. And he said, well, it's going to be really difficult because there just isn't an income for you, and you could live in one of the cottages on the farm and pay 200 quid a week or whatever. But that didn't even cover the fuel to drive up and down to London. And I started getting the train, and then I ended up using savings to be able to drive up and down. And I just thought, this isn't viable. I need to have some kind of income. It's not going to happen with the farm. I think we'd said, look, we'll just crack on and we'll see how it all works out, and we'll just make it work. But that was the whole thing, was that I needed to have some kind of, a business or some kind of an income. And when I started looking into the black pudding and haggis, and we were using, pork from the farm, and we were kind of using really good, local ingredients and stuff, and I was looking at the recipe, which are all natural and stuff, and I started thinking, wait a second, this is actually quite a good story. We've got a 100-year-old all natural recipe here. We're using Scottish local ingredients. We can actually, it's a product that travels well, because I think if you put meat in a box and it doesn't arrive at the destination, then it costs a lot of money, and you need to sell 5 or 6 of those orders to cover the cost of replacement. And I went into a restaurant in London with some samples which I'd driven down in a box, and said to them, hey, look, I'm a farmer's son from Scotland. I hadn't even necessarily thought of the whole story behind the farmer's son, but I said, look, I'm a farmer's son from Scotland. We have a small family farm. We've been farming for 300 years. It's a handmade product. Do you want to try a sample? And the guy went, so what, you're going to send it down? And I said, yeah, would you like to try a sample? He said, what, a box? And I said, well, how much? He said, well, send me a box. And I was like, do you not want to try it first? He said, no, we use 26. And I went home and I wrote out an invoice, and I thought, wait a second, how many restaurants are there in London? How many butchers are there in the UK? How many farm shops are there in the UK? And if I just went round all of them, so for the next 2 years, I literally drove around every farm shop and butchers in the UK. I went to like 3,000 farm shops and butchers, cold called them with the what I'd learned in Canada.
Yep.
And did out a pitch about just what I'd said to that chef, because I was like, it clearly works. It's authentic. It's I'm not
true.
I'm not saying I'm making it myself in my mum's kitchen, but I was driving up and down, so get the orders from the butchers. The one thing I didn't tell you was, and this is where the resilience and the perseverance comes in, was that it was 27 degrees and it was July, and I was going around all these restaurants in the middle of either service, when the chefs just tell you to sling your hook, or they're shut, and try and sell black pudding haggis in 27 degrees in London is just, it's like very, very difficult. So anyway, I found I had much better luck with butchers, and I'd had much better luck with farm shops who were looking for really authentic, genuine products direct from source. And the thing is, as well, it's the Scotland brand. We've got amazing porridge, whiskey, loads of beef. We've
lamb.
got lamb. I know the untold.
It's just the Scottish brand globally. You see that Scottish flag?
Yeah. Aberdeen Angus is, I think, up there with McDonald's and Manchester United is one of the most recognisable brands in the world.
Is that right?
Wow.
There you go.
Sorry, not to be like
In fairness, got to give it.
educating.
The annoying thing is the Americans probably get a lot of credit for that, but even so, it's still incredible. Well, they just call it Angus right enough, don't they?
But like the Scots, you're really proud of the Scottish one. That was the thing about going abroad as well, is that you're, what as they say, never have so few done so much for so many or whatever. I think that's probably been adulterated.
That's a Winston Churchill quote.
All right, okay. Well, anyway,
but
it's true. And you look at it and there's all these different things that we've got. And, not that I'm like, it's only that it's got to be the Scottish, but we've got a great story. And you've got 65 million people in the UK, so many Scots that their grandparents were Scottish, their parents were Scottish and maybe moved off on search for better life, all over the world, but also down south. And in London, someone said to me, if you can crack London, you can crack anywhere. And that was the thing. So it was trying to go around to these butcher shops. And of course, you come up against, that's the thing, you come up, people say, but I can buy it cheaper. I'm already getting Scottish one. I'm already getting it from such and such. And that's where the sales comes in and the resilience. And I was driving up and down overnight. So I would go around Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, get the sales. Wednesday night, I would drive back up. I'd work overnight in the butchery on the farm to pack all the orders and make the products, pack them all up, send them out on night courier, and then on Friday I'd drive back down, and then it'd be dead. Friday night, Saturday, and then Sunday I'd be getting geared up to go and do it all again, research all your shops and stuff. Mm-hmm. So you're going out, some of these shops would open at like 3 a.m. in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning, or 7 the shops, if they were doing catering or, for wholesale. And then, so I figured out that if you drove up to like Rutland or Yorkshire or, Wales, you could be at the first shop at 7 or 8 a.m. and then you could go and see 20 or 30 shops in a day, and some of them would shut at 6 o'clock at night, and you could get like so, many samples, leaflets. And it was thinking about it now, nothing was perfect. It was all quite cobbled together and whatever, but it worked.
And when was that?
So the products have been made for like 100 years, but we started the Farmer's Son, I think it was 2017, summer 2017 was really when we...
And so that was obviously the hustle at the start, getting the orders in. Where is the Farmer's Son now? So we're still based out at the farm. Are you in like a good place, like with the business? Like
it's
success?
I guess it is, but I think that's the thing, is you're never, like, the whole thing is I want to buy my own farm. I want to buy it. I want to have, the big house, the shed full of nice tractors, nice livestock, a nice farm that's viable, that pays the bills.
Are you an only child?
No, I've got a sister.
Okay. Is she going to farm?
So my sister is very supportive, but she's definitely is not interested in the business. And that's the thing as well, is I didn't want to be, because my mum and dad, my dad still, he does the field work and kind of oversees everything on the farm, but he's semi-retired, and my mum's pretty much semi-retired, and they work so hard that I didn't really want to be kind of like competing with them locally, or other kind of businesses like selling stuff at farmers markets, because Scottish black pudding haggis in Scotland, every butcher, there's so many people doing it. And that was the thing, was I didn't want to be, at that time, the plan was I just wanted to be completely, I was saying, kind of plough my own furrow and independent, and not having to kind of explain the story of, are you a Mitchell, or are you, where are you from? Oh, do you know these people? Or, that you...
So is this not from your mum and dad's farm?
No, so now we're just using local producers. So we started off, but obviously as we grew, there was an element...
You needed supply and demand, you needed more of it.
And I think that was the thing, Iona was the scalable element of it. It was trying to find something where I'd seen that with other businesses where they were like, oh, we can't supply this week because we've not got enough,
Who do you use for your delivery?
So we use, we've got a combination, so stuff that's going, we've got a couple of supermarkets we work with, or small, like, not, they're supermarkets, but they're like nice ones. That goes on pallets. So we work with another local farmer has a haulage company, and we use APC and kind of courier. So not a lot next day.
Just like cool bags?
Boxes, like cool boxes and stuff.
Cool boxes, yeah.
And then we use, and again, we're like always learning. There's probably better ways if anyone's got a successful food business out there and knows how to get products to A to B quickly. And then we've got some vans. We work with kind of shared delivery. So putting our deliveries, we pay someone that runs van, local delivery to deliver parcels if it's kind of like within 20, 30 miles. So we supply local farm shops and stuff and on delivery routes. But it is trying to kind of remove that element of complication, because you can end up with loads of delivery vehicles and loads of overhead.
Yep.
And I think that was coming into it. The fascinating thing was that when I was made redundant, I kind of coming back into it, it's that whole thing. It's like the ability to see what's out there and speak to other people and try and learn. And I contacted loads of people who were in food, and they were so generous. That's the thing about farming and the food industry, is people are so supportive and of their time and generous. And I think just in general, like a lot of business people are, again, like the Scottish thing is people are quite willing to give you their time and speak to you and maybe tell you like where they tripped up. And like, we've made loads of mistakes, but it's just that thing of like, keep going. We've had some shockers.
Hey, the man that never made mistakes and all that, never made anything. Listen, you're selling yourself very well. You're speaking very well. Your packaging, we'll put some images on the YouTube. Like we're holding, for anyone just listening, Pete's brought us a whole heap of stuff, which I hoped he would.
Yes.
You know, and you coming in, I thought I would have...
haggis model here.
Yes.
So
those
what
are on
is,
the
so
video.
what is in haggis?
So haggis, white pudding, black pudding, Lorne sausage. So our most popular range is the black pudding. Haggis is and the Lorne sausage.
But what is a haggis made up of? Tell our, with a lot of American listeners.
So
and
haggis,
this is like, this looks to me, can I just say first, this looks like a proper haggis.
Yeah.
Will this be properly, it won't be a sheep's stomach, will it? Or it is properly...
Ox runner, yeah.
It's what?
Beef intestine. So
Yeah,
they're
beef
salted.
intestine.
Is that just is that the casing that's the beef intestine?
Yeah.
But that's proper, that's like more proper than like, because it usually just be plastic.
This is cook in the bag, the original cook in the bag. You know, all that microwavable, easy to microwave stuff. This is back in the day. This was before they had that.
So this,
what
anyone
you
just
do.
listening, I'm holding a traditional looking haggis. I say it's wrapped obviously in an ox intestine here. And it's...
Doesn't sound very appetizing, Cammy.
But it's not, is it?
But
it's
haggis
not,
is
but
delicious.
No,
No,
it is,
yeah.
but
What
not.
No, you
actually
wouldn't eat
haggis
that.
is, if there's people listening to the podcast that are too soft to hear where the food comes from,
Yeah.
they're listening to the wrong podcast.
Yeah, no,
So
absolutely.
don't worry about that.
And the thing is it's so like nutritionally, it's amazing for you. Black pudding as well. You know, it's packed with iron, magnesium,
black pudding's a
protein.
superfood.
Protein,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a superfood. Yeah, absolutely.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a superfood because of the iron, because it's made with blood. And I do notice, interestingly, you're good at the sales because he wrote on the front of this packaging, obviously dairy free, no added sugar, which is great, made with Scotch beef and oats, which is creative licensing, I would say, because it's just made with blood and oats mainly, is it not? How much Scotch beef's in it?
No, a lot, yeah, a fair bit. So we use, I think that's the part of the thing, was that we were looking at what other people do, and a lot of them...
It says there's more pork in it than beef.
Well, it's a mix, because of the pork. I can't go into the recipe, Cammy.
No, okay, yeah.
It softens the beef.
I'm just
Some people
saving
are
him.
just beef, and so that was the thing, was that we were using the whole nose to tail of the pigs originally, and we were
Yeah, I thought it was always, so it's not always pork in black pudding.
Well, it was the bacon, like the skin of your bacon rind, so the pork cooked off, and then pork fat, and it softens the beef.
Okay.
So it's a really nice soft mixture, but the oats is a big thing. So some people don't. If you're in Cornwall, you've got a different recipe. If you're in Kent, you have a different recipe. If you're in Manchester, but when you actually start looking at how it's made, you know, we it's a small batch recipe that we use, and you know, we're using the flour comes from our local mill in Kirkcaldy. The oats is coming from farms. You know, there's a lot of oats. In fact, Cammy, you were just over our way doing a wee feature on that with our neighbours recently.
Oh yeah, the big estate that does the rye whiskey.
Yes, yeah, but they're our neighbours, so they
Okay.
combine. Do all our combining stuff for us.
That's a big operation. What was the name of the estate again?
Kingdom Farming.
Yeah, but Kingdom Farming's who contract it. But the
yeah.
estate is.
So there's a- there's a-
what was the name of the
Balgony?
estate? Eh?
Balgony?
Balgony.
Yeah.
Balgony's the whiskey.
Inch Darney.
Inch Darney's the whiskey, right? I'm talking. So it is Balgony
Yeah.
estate.
Yeah. Grow it for them.
Inch Darney
Rye
is
and
the rye whiskey we
Yeah.
did. Yeah, big operation. Yeah, and Kingdom Farming is. Need to get him on actually. I've got his number actually. I need to drop him a text to remind that bit a good story because that's some operation.
He's a great guy, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think the thing was initially it was black pudding, but then someone said to us, "Can you do haggis?" And I was like, "Yeah, we've got like a haggis we can do." And then they were like, "Can you do white pudding?" And then someone said to me, "We'll take your black pudding, your white pudding, your haggis, but we also sell a lot of Lorne sausage." And again, when you look at these products, Scotland makes a lot of these products, but actually where are they getting their ingredients from? Because none of them have got the Scotch logo, and it's because you can buy the meat a lot cheaper from Ireland, you can buy it non-European, but it's something that we are quite, you know, serious about, is that is the trying to showcase the best of what we've got. And I think the thing is that on the volumes of a lot of these guys is that they tend to outsource because they want to get the volumes from like, cheaper, and they're trying to make margin. They're trying to sell a product at a low price, whereas we were like, well, if we can try and use good quality ingredients, a good recipe, tell the story, then it goes from there.
And price it as such. Yeah, I mean, looking at the stuff, I'd expect to pay good money for all this stuff.
Yeah, so would I.
Even just your packaging is fantastic.
Yeah, it's lovely.
The story, the fact that I can see the branding on it here clearly, made with born and reared Scotch beef.
Yeah, and it's so difficult trying to source the stuff now as well. Like there's the abattoirs are being bought. These, I'm not being boring here, but the abattoirs are being bought out by a lot of like Irish.
We decide if you're being boring.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like a lot of, but they are, and it's like there may be like questions over where the animals initially were from, or if they're coming in to be Northern Ireland processed there, and then it's coming to UK to be made in sausages, and then does it become
how much horse meat is in these lawn?
We only use a wee bit.
Just a little bit.
Just
That's the
a touch
secret.
of smithering, smattering.
Plus a secret ingredient we can't tell you about. There you go.
but it's and this whole like food fraud thing. Yeah, the whole food fraud thing. I think that's the thing. We're trying to be genuine. And coming back to the marches in London and stuff recently, this whole thing of that we've forgotten about where food comes from, and we only produce in the UK. We only produce something like 40% of our pork. We only produce something like. Is it 60% of it? There's only something like a couple of million.
60% of the food I think we produce, or 60% self-efficient.
Yeah, I think so.
Efficient. Which actually, well, it's not massively high, but like we talked about post-war, we're up in the high 80s. But then that was an extreme time, of course it was, and less people to feed.
Yeah.
It's different population now and stuff.
Yeah.
The pork thing's interesting because I think Denmark's absolutely screwing the farmers. I think we spoke about this earlier.
It's subsidised.
With Neil Fell. Yeah, but Denmark's going to screw the farmers with this methane tax.
Yeah.
On animals, so there's a lot of talk that pork could really boom here if our government doesn't crush it.
But they need to be able to pay, and it's funny because obviously we're trying to make a product for a set price and sell it at a set price, and our customers need a margin so they can pay their bills and make some money and stuff. But it's a big thing, and I think we seeing that firsthand. We lost the whole driver. I think was when I was about 11 or 12. I remember sitting in the living room and they said farming, but it's maybe not always going to be like that. And we've decided we're going to have to sell half the farm because we need to pay off some money to the bank. And Dad said, I might not always be a farmer. We might need to go and get another job. And I think that kind of ignited a thing of like, okay, I want to be able to buy, I want to be able to kind of reinstate the farm of how it was when my grandpa bought it. Although it wasn't that long ago,
So was it half?
Only 50s.
Was it halved?
No, it wasn't, but it was still a good chunk,
But you did have to sell off a chunk?
Yeah.
Was that to pay out family or something?
No, pay the bank loans. They said that pigs...
Oh, because your catties went bust and other things. The pigs lost a lot of money.
Yeah, and they were losing a lot of money in the 90s. And the times that were... There's that whole thing, it's like, you need to be in it for like 10 years and you might get 2 good years and you get 8 bad years.
It's crazy.
But the good years, we had a restriction on the farm. We couldn't sell the pigs because of blue ear disease or something. And it's kind of akin to like TV. So Dad, my mum and Dad, that's the thing, coming back to it, was the resilience and Dad's work ethic. My mum's like incredibly hardworking. She had a physio job that paid for, put food on the table.
Yeah, that's what kept you going.
And on holidays and stuff like that. And, but again, it was like I don't really remember we didn't really have that many holidays and stuff. But I think this is the thing, is that we don't realise how lucky we are, like in terms of things have moved so much. But they were just both, and my auntie as well, everyone just absolutely grafting like mad. And you can kind of almost get through anything. Ultimately, you'll end up burning yourself out if you don't have a plan, if you just keep doing the same thing.
Yep.
But it was such a kind of ignited that little spark of, and I think when I went away and worked in Australia and Canada and New Zealand, you see these people who have maybe not been lucky enough to grow up in a beautiful part of the countryside and have supportive, hardworking parents, but they themselves have taken their actions of trying to create their own destiny, if you like, and take their situation, turn it into something, and they'd be completely self-made. And you think that's an amazing thing. How can I take the fact that I've not done that well at university or I've not done that well at school, and that we've got this small family farm which is maybe not making an awful lot of money, or that it's struggling because of the scale that we're at, and what can I do? And as I was saying, I would love my kids to be able to have the opportunity that they can farm and continue on if they wish. But in the meantime, you have that sense with, and I hate saying this, but like you're kind of feel you're a custodian of the land, and you know that you want to look after the ground and make sure that it's got, you know, the soil health, and that, you know, you're doing a good job, and that you're leaving it financially in a good position as well, which is easier said than done. But
yeah, but like I take there'll be no debt in the farm now. I would think if your parents are at retirement age, there is debt on it because of you.
No, not because of me.
So
but
has debt on it,
because-
but your parents are at so is that all stem back from having to cover the bank costs?
So we stayed in pigs for quite a long time. We have interest rates are astronomical.
That'll be
11.5%,
squeezing you just
12%
What age are your parents?
70, 69, 70-ish.
And is some of that debt yours, or is that theirs carried through from the bad times?
Well, it'll be.
It will be yours one day, but I mean, like, was it theirs carried
There's
through?
always been debt on the farm.
But I think it's a great example. It's a great example of farming. So they've not been panning all their days are 70.
Yeah.
And they're still
7 days a week. Like,
it's insane. It's just not right at all.
Yeah, but then, you know,
But why can't you just obviously it's good you obviously want to do your own thing. Of course it is. It's great. And it's actually going to, be a very strong thing for the farm moving forward, having that extra income. It's needed, to be fair, in a lot of cases. But like, you're going to inherit the farm then.
I hate that word inherit, because it's not. You're kind of it would be mine for the next 30 years or whatever until one of my kids. But yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but inherit's better than given.
Yeah, well, it's a family farm.
Yeah.
And as I was saying, everyone does their bit.
Do you think you're only going to live another 30 years? God, that's pessimistic.
No,
What age are you?
37.
Done
Good
a
sight
lot.
then.
Done a lot for 37.
It's good. It's very
God,
good.
there's a
But
flat right here.
it's
getting hot here.
It's all downhill from here. So
Coming from Cammy, you're younger than me, though. In fact, both of you will be younger than me.
I look older, but I'm aging terribly.
What age do you think
I'm
I
under
am?
27.
Close.
Are you?
He tried to go even a lot younger
Yeah,
there to be
he actually
flattering, but he
thinks 30.
actually got it almost bang on 28.
Oh, okay. I just
He
like,
thought she was 35.
You did?
no. I was
He
going to
did
say
like that, like 27.
I was going to say 32 maybe, or
You
I don't
always-
know.
Okay, the honesty's there,
It's
the
the
honesty's
cold
there.
weather over here.
You always say, it's the cold weather. That's the hacks in her eyes.
Yeah.
It's the wind. It's aged her.
You're no, I'm like thinning on top
Oh,
here.
me
Cammy's
too,
still
mate.
got a good. You got quite a lot of grays.
Oh, terrible
Yeah.
thinning. Like, I feel it now with the shower.
Oh,
Like,
do you?
Yeah, it used to be like this was impervious to the heat of the
no, it's
shower.
still-
Now I can feel it bouncing off my scalp. I'm like, oh no.
It's still thick.
You've not thought of doing product placement? Like, what's the
If I brush this over, mate, you'll see it'll look like yours. It's like some
Oh,
Shade,
low
shade.
blows. Low
No,
blows.
but I mean, like,
Right in it.
let's address the elephant in the room. Like, we're both losing it. Like, we're both losing it, but it's okay. We've
I
had
don't
it.
know your you said I look haggard.
Can I just say, exactly. well, listen, we've had a good run.
Yeah, listen,
I'm only 37. I'm only 37.
But we're both at a stage in our life now. We don't need our looks anymore.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You've got the lady, you've got the children.
We've got the fillies, we've got the bairns. Like, it's all downhill.
Yeah,
That's just how life is.
We were actually just talking about this earlier about if you want to try and do the best you can, about how important actually getting good sleep, eating well, exercising, and that sort of stuff. I was just saying,
Farm strong.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of that, but sounds good.
But you're basically saying exactly what they're all about. Well-being,
Yeah.
It's a
about
charity.
exercise.
Yeah.
John Scott from Fern Farms, a big. I think he's maybe chairman or he's the head man at
Director,
it. But a lot of big names involved in it as well. They have a podcast as well, which is very good. All about speaking to folk about their well-being and what they do.
Yeah.
And like you say, sleep. Like, I'm a big one with sleep. Although this is random. I was up to 4 a.m. last night.
What? Do what?
Do you know? Here's an interesting thing. Going to go on a quick tangent here, right? Very quick. So I'm a great sleeper. Like, I'm a great sleeper. I'm like bed, sleep. All right. Recently, the last few months, you get woke up a couple of times because Bonnie gets up a couple of times. But to be fair, I don't do anything. Lizzie does everything. Still wakes you up. Still. hard
That's
on the
bad,
dads.
by the way, Cammy. Just call that out there,
How's that bad?
because
I don't lactate.
well, do you not do nappies and stuff? No,
but
do you not put her down?
But you feed and nappy at the same time, don't you? So it's like.
I don't know. Our little boy doesn't. We've got a 2-month-old, but I'm on the. I have to put him down and take him in the morning first thing.
I couldn't put her down.
Because it's a partnership.
But she
Kids
won't,
are a partnership.
She will not settle. I do Jock, which is the worst one. It's like a 1 hour process of 5 books,
Yeah.
in bed, out bed, do a wee shadow puppet display, have to sing Old MacDonald until he says now Jingle Bells. And that's not Christmas.
Yeah.
I've been singing Jingle Bells. We've had our Christmas. I promise you this. I've been singing Jingle Bells since last Christmas.
Really?
He wants Jingle Bells every night. And it's funny, and when you, it's a real tangent now, but it's just so nice when you so I usually do job most nights, unless I'm away. And Angus or Dodo just throw him in the cot and walk out.
Really?
He's great. Oh, he's great. But as you leave the room, I always go, night, Jock, love you. And because I'm so used to saying Mum loves you too, he now says it. I don't need to say it. So I go, night, Jock, love you. And he goes, Mum loves you too. And it's just nice. Like, I don't even say it anymore. He goes, Mum loves you too.
Yeah, no, I just, on that point, it's like, so my wife and I work together, and she does a huge amount behind the scenes, just like you and Lizzie. In fact, my wife's called Lizzie as well.
Thinking of you, mate. I know how hard that is.
And the whole night.
We're the forgotten victims.
But, and I don't know how things were with when you guys were young, but there's a lot of it, it's like, that's the woman's, domain is the kids or whatever. But it is, my wife's like, if you want to go out and work, that's fine, but you've still got to be at home. You've still got to do, like helping out. Like I make the kids, I'm not wanting points here, but it is quite important because it is so, like, this the thing is that there's like if your wife is at home or whatever and you're out away all the time, like the grinding down of trying to manage kids and all the routine and stuff. So there is an element of that, but that all comes back to like the getting enough sleep, eating well, fitness. Like, what do you do to?
Oh, I went on a tangent. Sorry, I'll quickly. Yeah,
we'll talk about. Why are we up at 4 a.m?
Yeah, up to 4 a.m. So this podcast is out now after we bought this farm. So yesterday I paid the deposit for the farm.
Wow.
Who did you use to finance it? Oxbury.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, I watched that.
Actually.
I listened to your podcast with them actually.
It's that farm. See that farmer I was talking about in that podcast?
Yes, did you do it?
That I said I wasn't going to buy.
That's mega.
The farmer heard it and then phoned me.
No way.
And it was like, just buy the bloody thing.
Just made your dream come true.
And I was like, right, okay.
Because
it was a good sales pitch. Just like buy the thing.
When I first met Cammy, and I think it was at Highland Shore, and they always say you should never meet your heroes.
But what, I was starstruck.
No, that was my line there. Anyway, I was there. I said, "Oh, Cam, we've got 2 kids," and I said, "I think I just first saw you maybe on Crawford's farm," and I was like, "Who's this plonker trying to reverse a trailer?"
Yeah, that's me. That's right.
And then looked you up, and then I was like, "Jesus, this is really good," and it is fascinating. It's a whole. You're at home. It can be quite isolated or whatever, or you're exhausted, and you're getting this whole like experience to the most amazing things that you would never know or hear about. But anyways, I saw you. I said, "Oh, I saw you. I love your story." So, thanks very much. I said, "Yeah, we've got a small farm in Fife, and I have a business, Farmer's Son. We make haggis and black pudding." And he said, "Well, I've not got the farm yet, but if you buy 2 of my gilets for your kids, it might help me." So we bought 2 of them. Kids wear them proudly. But that's brilliant. So I'm not trying to say that we help. But
it is, mate.
Literally,
like you've done that entirely off your own back.
No, but I haven't.
You had a dream.
But this is the thing. Like, and I did say this in the video we put out. Like, it isn't off. It is absolutely totally ourselves buying the merch. Like that, or the YouTube money. YouTube's not as big a money as full time, but YouTube money's good as well. Of course it helps. It's great, and that will grow as the whole thing grows. But like it's the merch.
Yeah,
like it's folk buying merch that's bought that farm.
Yeah,
it's insane. So
but they're buying into you and your story. Genuine.
That's one thing. Like you've seen in here.
It's also educational. Like it's fascinating.
Yeah, I mean we don't swear and we try and keep it positive as we can and show all the bad stuff. And I am a part of this community. Like I am. Like farming is everything to me. The people in farming are everything to me. That, I always try and represent them and stand up for them. And I just love this community. And I appreciate they've got behind me as well. And like you've seen this place, like we do everything in house. So the great thing, if you buy merch from us, like it all comes to us.
Yeah.
We have our cost just to get it made wholesale, but there's no middleman. A lot of these YouTube, of course they can't do their own merch. Of course they can't. You need infrastructure and staff and everything. But we do it ourselves, so everything comes to us, and that's what helps us push on to do this, to buy this farm. So the reason.
So go and tell us all about it. Go and tell us all about it, Cammy. What was it?
By the time this is out, I might have done it. No, I won't have done a podcast yet. So I'm going to do a podcast with Oxbury, so I don't want to spoil it, right? So I don't want to go into too much financial detail, although I've probably done a video about it before now for the sheep game. But yeah, it was like 300 grand, essentially, paid out yesterday. And
that was the deposit?
Deposit. That's deposit, stamp duty, additional dwelling supplement. I can't remember what else was thrown on top of there. Solicitors' fees, all these other things that you don't think about. It's insanity.
So can I just say, like, it's mental that you need to do this to be able to farm? And
it isn't. It would be mental if I need to do this just to make the farm pay.
Yeah.
Which I will have to do.
Yeah.
That bit's mental.
That is mental.
Well, yeah, it isn't. That bit is mental. Well, it's different. I just think nowadays, I think buying a farm used to be an asset.
Yeah.
Because an asset should be, you know all this, but an asset, you ever read Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Parts of it.
Yeah.
The summary on YouTube, the 15-minute summary.
Mate, the first chapter's the best. The rest of it's just him waffling about how great he is. But there's a great bit in it where he talks about everybody thinks their house is an asset.
Yeah.
But it's actually one of your biggest liabilities. And folk will go, oh, it's went up this much in value, etc. But what you usually find is folk buy a bigger house.
Yep.
And the house that you're selling, the one you're buying's went up in value by more than that because you're moving up a bigger house. So you aren't any better off. Because if you bought the house you wanted 10 years ago when you bought your house, it'd be so much more cheaper. So folk get this idea that, oh, I've made 50 grand in that house. But the other one's went up 70.
Yeah.
So it's this, and there's the cost of your new bathroom, new carpets, painting the walls a couple of times, the gutters are broken. There's all this stuff. Your house is a massive liability.
The interest.
And interest payments,
That's
of
like
course.
number one, yeah.
Interest.
But try and have 3 kids in a tent or a caravan, though.
Oh no, you need a house. No, you need it. No,
Yeah.
I'm not arguing that point. Although I do stand by that a lot of people live in a house they don't need.
Yeah.
Like out with their means.
Yeah, well, at least we lived in a wee house in the town that was pennies, like 100 grand. Like, we'd have done us fine, it just made it work because the freedom it gives you not to have a big mortgage is incredible.
Yeah.
When our interest rates went up, it went up 150 quid or something. When the interest rates went huge, a lot of folk went up 800-900 quid just for their house in the town. Yeah. Which is crippling. So I do think there's a big strength in being financially not having big outgoings, and I've always kind of believed in that. But this deposit, and what I was going to say about farming is that now I don't think buying a farm's an asset as such because it's too expensive. Mm-hmm. Like buying land, it's going to be so long. If you're buying it cash, yes, it can be. Mm. If you're Clarkson or Dyson and you can buy it cash, because everything's cheaper when you're rich. Yeah.
But most of the farms that were bought in the last year that they were showing, and this is the thing as well, is that, so just a couple of steps back there, we're going way off piece, but
it's good though.
The thing about farming, and that's the thing that having a voice, is that the land in the UK, we've lost more land in the last 10 years or 2 decades to golf courses and to house building, the amount of topsoil and good farmland, productive land to things, and it's. I think this is the thing, is that we're not making any more land. We're not able to produce any more food. Yes, we're more efficient, etc. But it's really important that people buying up the farm units are not farmers. It is investment properties, etc. And that's what...
Because buying a farm doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And that's the argument with the inheritance tax. No, like me, and that's the reason why I couldn't sleep last night. Yeah. Because, like, it kind of, like when we do the figures and we talk it more, it does kind of make sense, this one, because it's just buildings, really. There's only 16 acres on it. So it kind of makes sense for the point of view, I can move this over there, and that's a big chunk of the mortgage. We have an Airbnb. Between the two of those, it'll nearly pay the mortgage. So that makes sense.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But if I was buying 500 acres up your country, it could be 10,000 an acre for good. Yeah. So if you're paying, that never pays. Like, I'm not saying never pays back, but if you're paying interest on that, like that's a liability. Yeah. Like that is never making back. You'd be far better putting your 5 million and handing it to a guy like you in finance and saying, put it in a safe, don't take big risk.
In finance.
I want not, but no, well, but pick somebody that's safe. But you go for low returns on 5 million. All you need is low returns. Yeah, I want 3% a year. Yeah, a
bit better than farming,
but it's far better than buying a farm.
So just on real talk on sheep, how is that going? Because obviously you're like, what's your main area? Because you do
sheep. We're all sheep.
No, I know, but in terms of what areas do you specify, like, to get the best return on, and what area what's your, like, you obviously do
the
scanning and everything.
Oh, with everything? Yeah. Oh, it's the merch.
Because obviously you do, like, or you breeding.
Are you talking about part of the sheep makes money?
Yeah.
We're all fat lambs.
Right, okay.
Just fat lambs.
So you just buy in.
And fat lambs are the best thing
buying them in August, or when you
breed all our own.
Right.
So we breed all our own. We keep some replacements, have our own replacements, buy in a few. Moving forward, we'll just keep all our own replacements and keep it a closed flock. But yeah, fat lambs. And fat lambs have been great, And
you've got how many breeding ewes?
Last year we lambed about 1150. Will probably be something similar this year. I couldn't buy any more sheep because.
And are you and Lizzie doing that all plus help, or?
Yeah, no, it's people help at lambing time.
Right, okay.
And then we've got, like, a young girl called Marissa comes out at weekends and helps through the summer sometimes, although she's in a full-time job now. But yeah, Lizzie and I pretty much do it all
over
the rest of the year.
How many units?
Right now, about 21.
21 different sites.
Mad.
That's crazy. And Iona, you're from the farming background. Your dad's obviously very well respected, etc. Are you in farming kind of day-to-day at all, or interest?
No, I help him during the busy times, but no, I won't take on the farm. I don't think, although now I want to.
Yeah, it's a great life.
I heard your dad was on this podcast. Was he a few dropping in the family for like 200 and something years?
Yeah,
all the breeding stocks being kept,
Yeah.
never left. It's amazing.
All the females. Oh, it's good.
And that's the thing. Is an absolutely incredible. Like the industry is so rich and obviously not financially, but it's such and that's. I think that's what what drives you on in that interest, etc. And you think you're mad, but we do need a voice, and guys like yourselves do a great job of that.
Most foragers don't supply sheep and cattle with enough cobalt, copper, iodine and selenium, critical to digestion, immunity, reproduction and growth. When it comes to supplementation, there's a danger of under or oversupply. But when bolusing with Animax Tracesure, you can be sure every animal has enough for up to 6 months in one single application. Animax, giving what it takes.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, but I think, and I'll talk more about this farm in other podcasts and other things as well. But I think I, to be fair, I'm not a good. I say this, it's hard because I'm trying to be an example to young people coming into farming of like shear sheep. Like I still shear sheep, scan sheep, rent ground. We work hard, but see doing that, like,
Just not going to buy a farm.
no. Like I'd planned in my head I'd be 50. I thought I'll work till I'm 50 and try and buy somewhere. That's what I had in my head. But I realised after about 5 years that I'm not saying I realised, I started after 5 years, I was like, land prices are increasing faster than I can make any more money.
Yeah.
Like, and my rent, your rents are, I'm paying rent on everything.
Yeah.
All right, now there's 16 acres I don't pay rent on, but that's
but
actually I pay a mortgage on that, which is worse. Like, you're actually better renting ground than buying it.
Yeah.
You really are.
Yeah.
And that's, I used to think, paying rents, but you're actually better paying rents. It's cheaper than actually buying the bloody stuff. Short term.
Yeah.
Long term, there is benefits. But I'm very conscious of our time. We're way over an hour, by the way. We're way over an hour.
Oh, are we?
We have a quiz to do, and we need
quiz?
There's always a quiz. There's a leaderboard here.
Great.
But before, we need to, like, what is in haggis? Tell us
Okay,
very
so-
quickly. Let's go through the products.
So
What's in
you're
haggis?
awful. So
No, you're
recipe
awful.
can be beef, lamb, pork, or venison predominantly. But
What's in this one?
So that is heart, lung, liver, and we have a mix that we put in. So sometimes you get ones that taste really livery or like they taste really awful, but they do, and I think that's part of it. Is you're trying to take something. If you look at the Tea Haggis with Robert Burns' poem, he talks about how you're trying to take something which is, maybe turn it into like a delicacy, turn it into something delicious. And that's the art to it. So we're using a blend of spices, a lot of oatmeal. We use Scottish onions as well. We use flour. We use suet and a kind of like a nice. I can't go into too much detail, but like the kind of pepper spice that we use. Obviously salt and things as well. But
Nice.
it's a wonderful addition. You can stuff it into chicken breast. You can put it inside
A chicken balmoral.
Yeah,
of course.
obviously. You can put it into like shepherd's pie. You can make
Haggis
haggis
is one of my
bonbons.
favourite.
Yeah,
I
loaded
love
nacho,
haggis.
steak burger with haggis. There's loads of things you can do with haggis. It's so versatile.
Yeah. And it's
Burns,
generally quite cheap,
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
of what's in it. It's nothing fancy, and it's a great feed, which is why it's so popular in Scotland, because we're quite a poor country.
Yeah.
Not so much now, but definitely back in the day.
Yeah, so it's not just haggis you need to tell you, but whiskey sauce as well. But yeah, to cook it, super easy to cook as well. And nowadays you can do a lot of them in the microwave, but for the best results, I always find kind of like steam it. So wrap it in tin foil in the case. And kind of like simmer it in the oven, like bain-marie style. It's usually 45 minutes per 450 grams.
Yeah.
Neeps and tatties, whiskey sauce. Make your own whiskey sauce with horseradish, lemon, and whiskey.
So good.
Double cream.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
That sounds
And do you address the haggis? Do you know address the haggis?
I do.
Good.
I thought you
address.
asked me to recite.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Address the haggis. This is obviously coming out around about Burns. I don't know what exact date this is coming out. But January 25th is Burns Night here in Scotland and all around the world. The amazing thing about the address to the haggis that I love so much about it, and how clever Burns, he's obviously an absolute genius, but how clever he is I think it's the third and second to last verses where he describes the devil. He uses the devil a lot, and I think he uses the devil a lot as like a mischievous character. So he says, "Peer devil, see him o'er his trash." Now he's talking about eating something other than haggis. And it's trash because it's not the mighty haggis.
Yeah.
Who's like, "Peer devil, see him o'er his trash, as feckless as a withered rash. his spindle shank a good whiplash, his knee a knit. So his spindle shank's like his arms all weak and he's spindly.
Okay.
And
Because
his
he's not
knee,
eating haggis.
because he's not eating haggis.
Right, okay.
His knee, that's like his fist, he's like hands all limp. His
Aye.
knee a knit, through bloody flood and field to dash. So that's like going into battle, into war. Oh, how unfit. You know, he's unfit for battle. But then it's like you'd usually, if you're doing it, you'd be like, but mark the rustic haggis fed, the trembling earth resounds his tread, and it's like this big powerful beast. Clap in his wally neva blade, he'll market whistle, and it's
What's
That's
that one from?
incredible that you know this scam. Yeah,
You
you're
love it?
showing off. You're showing
he knows them
off.
all.
Amazing.
I'm obsessed
Amazing.
with it. I'm obsessed with it. But so yeah, so like clapping. So in his hand, he's got a blade because he's a warrior. He's big and strong. He'll market whistle, so he's able with it. He's fit.
Yeah.
And arms and legs and heads will snade like taps a thistle. Can that way when you're wee, you whack, you maybe hit a thistle with a stick and take the head off it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's like, or you're topping thistles, you're like taking the heads off them so they don't seed. That's the idea. You know, he's taking off arms and legs and heads, like the tops of as easy as taking off the top of a thistle because he eats haggis.
Love that.
So and it's good.
Marking. So
But
we're in
it's
Haggis
genius.
country here, just up Moscow, just up the road at Mauchline, down the road, Mauchline.
Yeah. Mauchline. Aye, well, but
We're
yeah,
15
Burns,
15 minutes.
That was-
Burns
15
was in Mauchline for a long time. Yeah. But he's an
Moscow.
Alloway man at Ayr initially, and then obviously he worked on farms at Mauchline, and then the big link with Kilmarnock we have here is that his first book of poems and songs was called the Kilmarnock edition, which was printed. There was no printers in, I think it was in John Finney Street in Kilmarnock. So that was printed. Kilmarnock's actually unbelievable in the history of Scotland.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
William Wallace was born here.
Yeah.
William Wallace was born here. Johnny Walker was born here. He was born on the farm where I'm from. You know,
That's mad.
oh, mad. So the two most, yeah, well, no, Burns maybe is one in there, but certainly the three most famous people, Scots people ever to live, like all have big
Ayrshire.
connections to Kilmarnock, all from Ayrshire, all big connections to Kilmarnock, which is I think is fantastic.
it's-
Maybe that's a sign that we were more affluent. Do you think that could be? Back in the day, I mean, back in the day, not now.
Kilmarnock certainly was a powerhouse.
A booming
in its day,
industrial town.
and it's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
sad
Because there
that-
was
that-
money,
yeah,
because it was
yeah.
Well,
industrial, yeah.
Well, Johnny Walker was there before the Westgate,
Printing.
but he started as a greengrocer, so that's just
did he?
that's a self-made man. That's an incredible story. But yeah, maybe Burns and all that. There must have
Good
been money
knowledge,
about.
Cammy. Good knowledge.
I like Kilmarnock.
Nice.
I like Ayrshire. So quickly, Blackpool, we've done that. It's pig's blood
Yep.
and beef and lawn sausage. Most people, a lot of English people
Square sausage.
might not even know.
Well, we sell a lot of it all over. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
People that
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Like
So
if you know,
Lawrence-
Yeah,
it's
you
like
know.
beef sausage. So Lorne is over. It's near Stranraer, is it? Lorne, or I think where it initially
Is
came
it?
from.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know
initially
that
came
knowledge.
from.
It's
There
out
was
of
three
Ayrshire, so I don't
brothers,
know.
Lorne, Fergus, and Angus, or something like that. And
Okay.
Lorne, or the area, something like that. But yeah, it's beef. So it's basically beef sausage without the casing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's no casing. It's cut like steaks, so you can cook it like a steak almost.
Yeah,
In the
from
frying
having
pan.
a roll,
Yeah,
grill it,
a
or
roll
an
with
egg.
egg.
Yeah,
And it
brown
sits-
sauce.
It's
so nice.
See people that eat links, like links obviously pork and very little pork a lot of the time.
Slipping out
But-
all over the place.
Yeah, but it's like it's not made. A link is not made to be eaten in a roll. You know, it's good in a fry.
Yeah.
up.
Debatable.
Great with
Debatable.
mash and
If you're gonna eat a
gravy.
link, you're gonna have to cut it in half
Why?
to make it sit nice.
Because it doesn't. Because then you end up getting one big mouthful,
What
and then
you
there's
guys-
a gap in the middle.
No.
No, I'm a lawn man.
Absolutely not.
Lawn is
Do
designed.
you sell links?
No.
Why are you hyping links up?
No, what's your big
Because
What?
I grew up eating pork
What?
sausages. I
I've
grew up eating pork sausages.
Links only here to defend themselves, so let's just run them down, okay? Lawn sausage, you can't beat it. Lawn of a links. White pudding, I'm not a white pudding man.
So is that
No.
basically black pudding
So
without
white
the blood?
pudding is East Coast up to Abbey.
Maybe
So they
that's
call
why
it
I'm
mealy
too
pudding.
poor. I'm too poor.
Yeah, mix
So
the blood.
it's oatmeal, beef, and onions, and it's got the onions in it, and the suet gives it a lovely creamy
It's
texture.
essentially just no blood in it.
Black pudding without blood.
Well, no pork either, and it's
So,
more of a
okay.
pepper.
So
It's
this
a
is more
pepper.
favourable for
People just like it.
religious people.
Oh, because no pork.
No pork. So you,
Well,
like,
no,
this would
'cause a lot of
suit
them don't
Jewish. Is this would be kosher? Would it?
No,
It wouldn't be kosher.
I'm not quite sure what but no, most people don't eat. Other religions don't eat beef either. So that, yeah.
No. What ones don't eat beef? Oh, like Hindus don't eat beef, but like,
Muslim,
well, like for example, you go to
Muslim.
like Dubai, they have
But it's not.
instead of like pork sliced like sliced ham, it's sliced
Turkey.
sliced calf. No, they use like they call it
Camel.
sliced calf. Aye, maybe camel too, but well, that's the great thing
Camel
about lamb.
black pudding
That's why lamb is the greatest.
on a shelf near you soon.
It's like, there we go, camel black. But that's why lamb is the greatest of all the meats.
Camel haggis.
Well, because every religion can eat
Yeah,
lamb.
you've said that.
Every religion.
Available on our website, farmersun.com.
Let's do the plug. The Farmer's Son. I think you've sold yourself very well. Your branding's fantastic.
good
I'm
stock
looking
is-
forward to having
I can't wait. We should
all
all
over
of
the UK.
this.
all
Did you bring
across
any
the
for
UK.
Iona?
Hey, no, that's mine.
Available all around the UK. You'll deliver out from the website.
Yes, we do website next day delivery across the country. Authentic, local, traceable. The provenance of the product, it works very well. Farm shops and butchers. So we supply a lot of butchers across country, farm shops across country, online, and then there's a few other kind of nice. But if you have a farm shop or a butcher's and you want to
Are you in
stock
Globeburn?
we are.
Are you?
At times, yeah.
At times.
I
Just
think they
so-
maybe
so-
sell some of the bigger brands. Again, sometimes the products, people know the bigger brands more. So it's not necessarily that they're better, or maybe they are better, but not in my mind.
But I wonder if any of the bigger brands have came on a podcast and say that you really like their YouTube channel and love
Exactly.
love what they're doing.
Exactly, and then
You
they've
know?
bought their gilets.
Have you bought? Well, no, I mean in Globeburn.
All right.
Because you said you love Crawford's YouTube, and then you seen me through. So you actually found Crawford before you found me. So like, hey,
True, we were just talking about this
What? Hey,
on the YouTube
Crawford-
Black Hole.
Crawford-
I didn't even know he had a
Crawford
YouTube channel.
listens to these, by the way.
Does he?
Aye, listens. Crawford, come on, man. Farmer's Son.
Come and make some haggis.
Let's have it. And let's. You could do a Globeburn special edition, couldn't you?
Yeah, get it on the shelf.
You could get oats from. Does he do oats?
Crawford, buy it new.
Buy it new. I like it.
Like it.
Trying to be very Scots. Right. We're going to
Right.
do the quiz.
Yes.
Farmer's Son, check it out, website. Details in the comments, in the description below, and it'll be on the screen, the website there. We have a quiz. Quiz is difficult. But you're a
These are okay.
big fancy banker. But as I say, you say these
Same.
are okay, but,
It's
Ten,
the same.
10 years ago,
I think you're
10
going to
years
be
ago,
okay.
I'd be more
I think you're
out,
gonna be
not
okay.
in.
but you're more learned now. You're reading the Financial Times and all that stuff back then. Like you're going to pick up a few things.
I'm still reading. It's important to be well read. Everyone should be.
So now he's no excuse not. Look at him hyping.
I
1
know,
minute he's
hyping
playing himself.
himself
Now he's
up.
helping
God.
himself up because he reads more than us. All right, I listen to podcasts, nonsense like this.
So you get 2 minutes. However many you can get right, you can pass as many as you want.
Now, these are general knowledge questions, okay? They're difficult.
No pressure.
They're usually quite difficult. I've not seen
You
these
got
ones
12.
this week.
Neil Wilson.
You've went over all the...
Yep.
Neil Wilson, that's my cousin.
Did someone only get 2?
Yeah, poor Becca. But the questions are hard. Like,
Oh, okay, sorry.
Don't out them.
Her questions were stinkers. In fact, the questions have been stinkers recently, but you feel confident about
Yep.
this? Pete. Okay.
I really
No
do.
pressure.
I really do.
No pressure. Cammy got 9, so he's
Yeah,
he is a poet.
To be fair, yeah, I should have had 11, but I made a mess of it.
Right, tell me
bring
when.
I'm really
Tell me
impressed
when.
at your poetry, Cammy. That's,
Do you like my buns? You
I
should hear me
do.
do Tam O'Shanter.
yeah.
I do
Burns
good.
night at Cammy's.
Well, I'm actually doing buns. I know 25th is a Saturday this
Saturday, yeah, it is, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
year, which
So
is-
everyone get your friends over, buy haggis, support your local butchers, farm shops, online.
You can play me
Meats as well,
play
tatties.
my Tam O'Shanter on YouTube. Iona's scratching her head. I'm doing the bun supper in Arran on the 25th
Are
of
you?
January.
Have you actually done a
I've done it once
recital
before.
on YouTube?
I've done a Tam O'Shanter on YouTube.
I think you should if you
No,
have.
I've done it on YouTube. It's, yeah, it's have
Yeah,
a
he's
look at
done
it later.
it,
But no, I'm
impressive.
doing it like live for the Arran Farmers. I think it's Arran Farmers bun supper. So when this is coming out, that'll probably be next week or last week. I don't know when this is actually coming out, this podcast. But do the quiz.
Let's
Let's
do it.
go. Okay.
Okay, we're going to start in 2, 1, go.
The Potsdam Conference 1945 took place at the end of which war?
The Second World War.
Yes. Which 2 main ingredients make up banoffee pie?
Butter and sugar.
Banana and toffee. The
Oh,
UK
sorry, I
sitcom
thought
Gavin and
Sticky Toffee
Stacey
pudding.
was written by Ruth Jones and which other comedian?
Gavin and Stacey.
Smithy.
Yep.
Yeah. James Corden.
Yes. The boat race takes place between crews from which 2 UK universities?
Oxford, Cambridge.
Yes. Dog, ice and out can all precede which 5-letter word?
Excuse me. Repeat the question.
So it's dog, then a word, ice, then a word, out, then a word. 5 letters. Just pass if you know.
Pass.
In the Bible, which character is known for building an ark?
Noah.
Yes. In the Harry Potter book series, which character is described as having a wild, tangled beard?
Dumbledore.
Hagrid. Who became the first serving US president to appear on television during a 1939 broadcast from the World's Fair?
Roosevelt.
Yes.
Reagan.
Which Scottish DJ was born Adam Richard Wiles in 1984?
Excuse me, repeat the question.
Scottish DJ born Adam Richard Wiles in 1984.
Oh God, it's not Calvin Harris.
Yes. Moonshine was a slang term for which type of beverage?
Moonshine, alcohol.
Yep. Actor Henry Cavill was born on which Channel Island?
Jersey.
Yes. Which chemical element has the symbol AS?
Ammonium.
Arsenic. In 1998, the Petronas Towers replaced which Chicago tower as the world's tallest building?
And the Burj Khalifa.
Sears Tower. Arabian and Bactrian are species of which African animal?
Sorry, repeat question.
Arabian and Bactrian are species of which African animal?
This is the last one, so take your time.
Deer.
Camel.
Camel.
I know.
Camel.
Would you believe it?
Arabian, of course. It makes sense. Once you say camel, you're like, of course, Arabian.
How
Like,
many?
8.
Good going.
Those are really difficult.
They are really difficult. You did
You did
a
very
lot
well.
of good solid guessing.
It was a lot of guessing.
You were very
No,
calm.
Calvin
You
Harris,
were
I'd
very
have guessed
calm.
that. There was one you didn't give the answer to, the dog.
By the way, you should not get
House.
Calvin Harris on your
House.
podcast. That'd be pretty.
He's Scott, yeah.
That'd be pretty
What was the
big.
House.
so the one you didn't? It was house, but it was dog, ice.
What
out.
was
What's
it?
Ice House?
That's quite a tough question.
An ice house.
It's
That's what they used to keep icing back in the day.
ice
so
house.
fridges.
Can all
Right,
proceed.
okay.
Which it's that's tough though. Like even I was listening to the question like dog, ice, and out.
Where did you
and
get these questions from? Anna?
They're tough, I know.
We get them all from the same place.
Wow.
Well, I like a tough quiz, but you did well. Would I say 8?
8? That's good
8
going.
puts you. 8 puts
Oh,
you.
I'm down a place.
8 puts you in the top 4. Well, yeah, joint top 4.
You got
So,
9, and the guy 12. That's pretty good going.
Yeah, to be fair, he was head of like agriculture for HSBC and
Oh yeah.
Neil Wilson. He's head of like the Institute for Auctioneers, and he's probably very well read. Well, he definitely was. He was doing mad guesses of Russian composers and stuff, man. It was like, yeah.
There's quite a bit of guessing.
I-
But
I think you
Hagrid
guessed-
though.
Hagrid,
Hagrid.
that was your 9.
Aye,
that was your beating me. I thought you were going to.
Dumbledore, to be fair, does have crazy.
See when you actually read back your questions, you had, banana and toffee.
I know you
I
could
know,
have
I
got
thought-
but
I
you.
thought it
was
ridiculous.
You'd have had
sticky
10
toffee.
there.
I had sticky toffee pie.
Oh, like I was
get
like
your pies. Got next door.
banoffee. Like the lot
Literally,
folks.
banana
I
and
would- I would have
I
got
think
that.
a lot
I
of folk
didn't-
when you didn't get that
I
would be
didn't
thinking
listen
this
to
is
the-
going to be a disaster.
I
Yeah.
didn't listen to the question.
brought it back.
Yeah.
But isn't it funny how some people, like, there was questions you got there, like Roosevelt, that nobody would have got, or not nobody, but few the people that would have got banana and toffee wouldn't have got that one.
Yeah,
And that's
I know
that's
And
how
to
these
be
questions
fair,
work.
yeah.
my wife absolutely loves banoffee pie, and I do know how to make it and everything. So I do. I'm kind of, but sometimes you hear
It's the
something.
pressure. It's the
It's
pressure.
sticky.
mate.
I was like, I thought you
That
said
was
sticky
early in the
toffee.
quiz.
We were talking the other day, and again, you're quite good at talking. We were saying the other day, like the ones at the top are all people that are used to being on film or are speaking in front of people under pressure, and it makes a big difference because like, when you're sitting here and the camera's on, people are going to see it.
No, but it's
Roosevelt
good
was a
going.
great guest. Absolutely fantastic. President during the Second World War. Scottish DJ Calvin Harris. Moonshine was an easy one. I would say they were slightly easier, these ones.
I thought you meant moonshine. I thought you were going to ask me what kind of, like, if that was a gin or something.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
you know,
Specific.
yeah,
It's
something,
any
yeah.
made in your bathtub.
Yeah.
Oxford, Cambridge was easy for the boat race. James Corden was easy. Noah was easy. Yeah, there was you're right, it was easy.
Yeah.
I'm not putting you down.
Now we
No,
hear it.
no,
Oh.
And do you know how the only reason I knew the Henry Cavill one
Who's that? Henry Cavill.
is he's in The Witcher. He's Superman. He's an actor, plays Superman. He would be a very
Okay.
good James Bond.
Okay.
But I follow him on Instagram, and he literally posted on Instagram
No
2 days ago.
way.
He was back in his hometown of Jersey, his home island of Jersey,
No
to
way.
buy something from somewhere. And I just thought, he's from Jersey.
That's
and then
so
that question
Did you
came
make
up.
the questions up?
No.
No.
Like
Okay.
just the
So you knew
question.
that.
Then the
Yeah,
question
such a
came up.
coincidence.
I would never. I couldn't even have told you arsenic was on the chemical element table.
Arsenic. Yeah, I didn't realise that was.
Would
but
you
now
know
you
that?
know.
I would
Now
have
you
known
know.
arsenic.
Now you know. Amazing.
Yeah. I wouldn't have got
It
Petronas.
is a
Sears
funny
Towers.
one.
I've never heard of Sears Towers.
Is that in
But you know-
Chicago?
But that's you just not listening to it because in 1998, Petronas Towers replaced which Chicago tower? And you said Burj Khalifa.
Oh, I thought you said like in terms of the tallest in the world or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I'm panicking. Anyway,
that's
very
a good
good.
go.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that's great.
What was it? The next one was. I can use these next ones. We're
No,
not gonna
yeah, we'll
these
use
questions.
them. We'll use the next ones.
You want to save those
Yeah,
questions?
definitely.
And you'll go from there.
Yep.
Okay, the next one's a very easy one then. Can I say it? Oh,
No.
I've done the quiz before this is out.
That would have been my
The next
9.
one is, that would be your 9 if you'd just been faster and passed. A couple more. What was the name of Prince Charles's first wife?
All right. Yeah. I won't spoil it.
I like it, but you know.
Right, don't read
Okay,
anymore.
sorry.
So
Right,
Right.
well, that's a crazy amount of time we've been talking there.
Thank
Pete.
you so much.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Yeah,
You're an
yeah.
absolute gentleman. Great chat.
Lovely to meet you.
Good luck with the future. Good luck with paying off the family debts.
It's not like crazy. I'm sure there's some people. I know
Listen,
that
I
there's
know
some
you're sitting on 10 grand an acre. You'll be fine.
some friends like you Bolt, you're like, how much is your overdraft you took on for your parents? And yeah, so I was saying we're I'm very optimistic about we've got plans for business and
it
stuff.
helps with
and
inheritance tax.
there you go.
A bit of debt helps with
There you
inheritance
go.
tax. What's the farm value? Are you going to be hit with that inheritance tax?
No, it's not a big enough place to. But as I say, that only ever matters if you're cashing it in. We have no. That's not the
Yeah,
plan. We
that's
want
not
to
the
grow.
intention.
Yeah, I
No,
think this
inheritance
is.
tax doesn't matter when it cashes in.
No, I'm saying
only
that
capital
would
gains
only
matters.
matter if we were planning to.
Ever sell.
Yeah. We're not. We're
No, but how would it, just to how
because
would
it would fall under the value of the property would fall under. It's
No, but the
it's-
inheritance
yeah.
tax is worse for people that don't want to sell.
Yeah.
But it's under $1 million.
Well, it'll be more than $1 million, but absolutely more than $1 million. Under $3 million.
I don't. We've not had a valued knowledge. Yeah.
I know,
I know I'm putting you on the spot here because it's your parents' farm, so you shouldn't be talking about it.
I know
get that.
Oh, yeah.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm not squeezing you on
Although
the
at
value
the
of
same
it.
time, it is actually.
I've just
a really
corrected
good point.
Iona
People-
that 270
the
odd acres
people-
in Fife is more than £1 million.
Well, some of it's rented, and
But
yeah.
my point is, you're saying that it doesn't matter the inheritance tax because you're not going to sell it.
Yeah.
But
But people should be talking about this stuff. I think there's
we
definitely
should,
culture,
and I think it's
we
good
don't
to hear
talk
other-
about what's your interest rate, what you paying for this,
I
how
always
much are you
I
making.
like to ask if the inheritance tax affects you, but it's good to talk it through because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people worrying about it and,
Yeah.
and hearing how other people have dealt with the situation.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, you're under the threat. You'll be able to do it through your different parents.
there's also like partnerships and stuff that you can
Exactly.
navigate.
Yeah.
But again, why if it's there's all these things. It's like we look after your children, we do your healthcare.
I saw
Why
that
you
post.
should?
It's-
And the thing
it's-
is, point is all this stuff.
None
is
of them pay inheritance tax.
Well, the point is that they're not having to. If you're working in a hospital, you don't have to buy the hospital for you to go and work there.
Yes.
You don't have to
Well,
take out.
the government doesn't have to pay
Get
anything
5
up.
weeks of
Yeah,
holiday paid.
Yeah.
Like Christmas time, the cows still need. If you've got livestock, you've still got crops. You're buying your fertilizer for next year and stuff like that. You've got to pay 11% on our overdraft, whatever it is.
See all the argument you need back to those people saying, "No, we feed your kids or we do the childcare and we do." And that post that's going about, all you need to say to them is, the general public pays 4% of the general public pay inheritance tax.
Yeah.
Right. Make it 4% of farmers.
Yeah.
And you'll not hear a word about it.
100%. Yeah.
Make
But-
it if you want to go in that argument, make it the same.
But the biggest thing, not
Make it, find where the threshold is
Yeah.
for 4%. It'll be somewhere like 10 million or more.
yeah.
Like so, set it at 10 million.
Yeah.
We'll not say a word about it.
But that's nothing to do with the fact that for the worst harvest on record, you've got
It goes back to what I
pittance
said.
on prices.
It's a liability, mate. There's no point.
Removal
You don't
of
buy a farm
single
as an
farm
asset.
payment, all of this stuff, and it's insane. And I was saying, food, we need to be, you need to be independent as a country. We're only producing 60% of the food we eat in this country.
Yeah.
That is, we want to go back to how it was in the Second World War, which was why they introduced subsidies in the first place.
You need to scale up the black pudding production just in case.
I know.
For sure.
But listen, an absolute pleasure, Pete.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
very
you
much
guys.
for coming in.
Cheers.
So that was Pete. Thank you so much to him for coming in and hope you enjoyed it. I feel like Cammy is going to be gutted that he's not here to give you some sort of rendition of Burns, and I'm not going to put you through that. So thank you for listening, and thank you again to our sponsors, Crystalyx and Tracesure by Animax, and we'll see you next week.
Welcome to the podcast where we're harvesting humor, planting delight. Join us, Iona and Cammy. Let's have some fun. It's time for